A boy sold pens for $10, not because the pens were special, but because he believed every pen could rewrite a new chapter for someone who'd lost their way, and her forgotten billionaire trapped in a silence that money couldn't heal. When those two worlds collided, one laughed, and the other believed. What happened next? No one saw it coming. The waitress, curly-haired apron stained with grease, grumbled as she wiped down a table. "Kid, I told you already. If you're not buying anything, don't just sit there." The black boy, maybe 10 years old in a worn-out t-shirt and busted sneakers, sat curled up in the corner booth. He didn't argue, just stared out the grimy window where shiny cars sped past like they belonged to another planet. "I'm not asking for money," he said softly. "Just leftovers, that's all." His voice was quiet but steady, not begging, just the kind of voice shaped by cold nights and colder stares. The woman scoffed. The brittle laugh of someone too tired to care. "Leftovers. You think this is a charity? I don't even have enough for paying customers." But then another voice cut in, warmer but laced with the sweet arrogance of the rich. "Give it to him, Susan. Just a plate." Everyone turned. A blonde woman in a tailored suit sat by the window, an iPad propped in front of her flashing stock charts and equity reports. Monica Blair, CEO of Blair Medical Industries, the biggest medical tech empire on the East Coast. A self-made millionaire known for her cold logic and ruthless deals. "Think of it as entertainment," she shrugged. "I want to see what the kid does with leftovers." The waitress hesitated, then finally dropped a plate on the table, soggy fries, half a cold burger. The boy lowered his head. "Thank you, ma'am." But Monica smirked. "Hold on. Didn't you say you'd heal me in exchange for food, or did I mishear that?" Her eyes locked on his, not out of worry but curiosity. That haughty curiosity of someone who didn't believe this kid could do anything. The boy looked up, strangely serious. He stepped forward and gently set the plate down on her table. "I meant it. I can heal." "Oh, heal what?" Monica chuckled. "You think I'm sick." "Not your body," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "Inside." The entire diner fell silent. The waitress stared. A man at the next table let out a scoff. Monica crossed her arms, leaned back, her gaze sharp as steel. "So let me get this straight. A homeless, penniless, uneducated little kid is gonna heal me. From the inside." The boy didn't flinch, didn't blink. He simply placed his hand on the table, met her eyes head on. "Have you ever laughed? Like really laughed?" From the heart? The question hit like a slap. For a split second, Monica's smirk faltered. Then she burst out laughing, shattering the silence. "Wow. Impressive. The kid knows how to play mind games." She leaned back, voice dripping with sarcasm. "But sorry, I'm not looking to be healed. I'm looking for deals." She shoved the plate toward him. "Eat, then get out." But the boy didn't move. "If you give me 10 minutes," he said quietly, "I'll make you remember what it feels like to actually be alive." Monica raised an eyebrow. The whole diner held its breath. Every eye locked on the two of them. 10 minutes, she chuckled. "Fine. Entertain me." The boy took a deep breath. And then he began to speak. Standing in the middle of a rundown diner across from the most powerful woman in the city, he told a story that seemed like no one would care. "My dad used to be a doctor," he began, eyes fixed on Monica. "He treated people who couldn't afford hospitals. Until one day, he couldn't treat himself." Monica tilted her head slightly. She'd heard hundreds of sob stories, most of them just angles to get money. But this boy's eyes didn't tremble. There was no performance. He died of something that could have been cured, the boy said. But he didn't have money, no insurance, no one helped. A man nearby frowned. The new guy in the kitchen leaned out, listening. The diner was no longer a place to eat. It had become a strange stage where a homeless kid was peeling back the emotions of everyone inside. Monica rested her chin on her hand. "So, what did you learn from that death? That people don't just need to heal their bodies," the boy replied. "They need to heal what's broken inside." He paused, stared deep into her eyes. "What about you? Has all that money healed anything?" Silence. Monica gave a short laugh. "Cold, steel-edged, nice speech. But I built a multi-billion-dollar medical company. I have teams of doctors, scientists, top-of-the-line labs. I heal millions every year. She leaned in, voice low and tight. And you, what exactly have you healed? The boy didn't blink. An old woman with depression for 10 years. I healed her just by listening to her stories every afternoon. He took a step closer. A young man who almost ended his life. I sat with him the whole night, never said a word. He changed his mind. Monica's eyes narrowed. You heal with emotions, with presence, the boy said. No pills, no machines, just being there when it matters most. The diner felt frozen. An elderly woman in the corner quietly put down her spoon, her eyes misty. Even the waitress stopped wiping tables, hands trembling. Monica leaned back again, eyes locked on the boy. I don't believe in sentiment. The world runs on logic, finance, and strategy. And that's why you're not happy, the boy said flat, clear. You have everything, but no one who's real. Silence. Like he'd just hit something hollow in her chest, a place no amount of wealth, status, or strategy could ever fill. After a long moment, her voice softened. What do you want? A chance, the boy answered. Let me spend 1 week with you. No money, no conditions. Just for you to live like a person, not a CEO. Monica burst out laughing. You're insane! 1 week, he repeated. If after that nothing's changed, you'll never see me again. But if you feel even a little healed, you'll give me 1 plate of food a day. The diner buzzed. A man at the bar whistled. The waitress muttered, betting your whole life for a burger. But Monica? She wasn't laughing anymore. 1 week, no CEO, no power, just life. With a street kid who believed he could heal people's souls. What's your name? Monica asked. Arthur, a short name yet heavy like a promise. Monica crossed her arms and leaned back, her steely gray eyes narrowing. All right, Arthur, 1 week. Day 1 began. In silence. Monica Whitmore, the woman who once commanded tens of thousands of employees, sat awkwardly on a wobbly plastic chair outside Richard's porch. Morning light filtered through the rusted tin roof, casting soft shadows across a face that was used to nothing but the glare of million-dollar conference spotlights. Arthur said nothing. He simply handed her a cup of hot tea, both hands, not in glassware, but an old ceramic mug faintly cracked, glued back together with care. I don't drink this stuff, Monica muttered curtly. Then you'll be thirsty. For the first time in her life, someone spoke to her without fear of being fired. Monica tilted her head to the sky, fighting the irritation rising in her chest. The boy sat beside her. No lectures, no pressure. Just a quiet presence, his eyes occasionally studying her face like he was reading breaths, noting every subtle twitch of a woman who once moved economies. By noon, Arthur took her for a walk. No cars, no driver. They strolled through narrow alleys where kids played in puddles, where mildew mixed with the sharp ring of laughter, a sound Monica hadn't truly heard in years. Have you ever laughed? For no reason at all, Arthur asked. I don't have time to waste. Arthur nodded. Then he stopped in front of an elderly woman selling vegetables by the sidewalk. The woman smiled and offered Monica tomato eyes, sparkling with kindness. I don't take handouts, Monica said. You don't have to take it. Just accept it, Arthur replied. She took the tomato, soft, ripe, warm from being held in the old woman's hand all morning, and just moments later her own hand began to tremble. By late afternoon, Arthur brought her to a small community center where Richard was teaching children how to blend herbs from the garden into simple remedies. Why not take them to a hospital, Monica asked. Because hospitals can't cure loneliness, Richard replied gently. We're trying to heal wounds that aren't visible. Monica stiffened. That evening they ate plain rice porridge and pickled greens. No wine, no linen, no servers. Arthur placed a helping of greens on her plate. Monica looked at the dish, then at the boy's eyes. Sincere. Not pitying, just quietly inviting, eat like a person. Live like one too. On the second day, Monica was assigned to sweep the yard. She held the broom like it was something foreign. I used to close $80 million deals. Not this, she snapped. You're signing a deal with yourself now, Arthur replied. A trade you work, you live truthfully, and in return you stop feeling hollow. So she swept, clumsily, but honestly. Day 3, Arthur took her to a public hospital, not to get treated, but to sit with patients who had no one else. A middle-aged man, recently widowed, clutched an old photo. A girl with late-stage cancer scribbling shaky words into a diary. "Who are they?" Monica asked. "People the world stopped looking at," Arthur said. "Just like you, only in a different way." She froze. "I've never been abandoned," she said. "Haven't you?" the boy asked softly. She didn't answer. That night, Monica couldn't sleep. For the first time in years, the cold she felt wasn't from the AC, it was in her chest. On the fourth day, they walked to an abandoned housing block once home to hundreds of families before they were evicted by a real estate firm Monica had once invested in. An old woman recognized her, her eyes burned with grief. "My son died here, because we lost our home. Do you remember his name?" Ms. Whitmore. Monica froze. Pale. She didn't. Arthur stepped between them. He didn't defend her, but he didn't walk away either. "You can't erase the past," Arthur said, "but you can start giving back." That night, Monica cried. Not out of shame, but because for the first time she realized she had caused pain, without ever knowing it. On the fifth day, she started asking Arthur new questions. About his father, his mother, how he learned to heal without ever getting a degree. She listened, didn't interrupt, and for the first time she laughed. Not out of sarcasm, but because she finally felt something lift from her chest. Day 6. Monica offered to cook dinner. "I've never cooked before," she admitted. "Then today you'll learn," Richard replied. The three of them stood side by side, chopping vegetables, rinsing rice, lighting the wood stove. Monica tasted the porridge and burst into childish laughter when it turned out burnt. Her laughter made Grandma Richard glance over at Arthur, and in that quiet look, they both knew some part of that woman had come back to life. The seventh day, the last day of her deal with Arthur, began with a light rain. The sky was gray, and soft raindrops tapped gently on the tin roof like a steady heartbeat. Monica sat in the small kitchen beside Grandma Richard, her hands still trembling slightly as she held a cup of hot tea. But this time, she didn't complain about the chipped mug. She didn't ask what brand the tea was. She just sat there quietly and sipped. "Did you sleep well?" Grandma asked without looking up. "For the first time in years." "I didn't dream about contracts." The old woman smiled and said nothing. Arthur walked in soaked from the rain, but his face glowing. "Today you won't sweep, you won't cook, you won't go to the hospital. Then what am I doing?" "You're going to a different hospital, but this time, not to watch others suffer." Arthur didn't explain further. He just helped her onto an old bus that rumbled straight toward a rehabilitation center in the suburbs. When they arrived, Monica stepped inside and froze. There in the center of a small but warm recovery room was Jonathan Whitmore, her younger brother. Paralyzed in a plane crash years ago, Jonathan had been under round-the-clock private care ever since. Monica had spared no expense: equipment, therapists, specialists, everything top tier, but he'd never spoken again, never smiled, never looked her in the eye. "Why, did you bring me here?" Monica asked, her voice cracking. Arthur didn't answer. He simply placed a hand on her shoulder. "You paid hundreds of thousands to keep him alive, but you never lived with him." Through the glass, she saw Jonathan sitting quietly, his hand resting open as a little girl placed tiny pebbles one by one in his palm. He didn't speak, didn't move, but his eyes, they blinked. "Who's that little girl?" Monica whispered. "A nurse's daughter," Arthur said. "She doesn't know Jonathan's name, doesn't know he was ever rich. But every day she comes, plays, sings, and now he blinks when she calls his name." Monica covered her face with her hands. "I've spent years building a medical empire, and I never once came here myself." Arthur stepped closer and gently said, "Healing doesn't start with machines, it starts with presence." She collapsed onto the chair. In that moment, she wasn't CEO Whitmore. She wasn't a founder. She wasn't a power broker. She was a sister undone by guilt and hollowness. Arthur didn't console her. He just sat beside her the way he always did, waiting for hearts to open on their own. And then, Monica stood up. She walked into the rehab room. No makeup, no title, no speech prepared. Just a heart that was finally beating for real. Jonathan, she called, voice trembling. He didn't turn. She sat beside him, placed her hand on his, and broke down in tears. I'm sorry, she whispered. I did everything I could to save you, but I forgot the most important thing. I was never really there for you. A single tear fell on the back of Jonathan's hand. 1 second, then 2, and then his fingers softly closed around hers. Monica gasped, too stunned to believe it. Arthur watched from a distance and silently turned away. That evening, Monica returned to the old diner, the place where everything had begun. Richard was wiping down tables. Monica walked over and handed her an envelope. This is a small investment, not from the corporation, from me, so you can build a new center, bigger, with a garden, a kitchen, a reading room. Richard stared at the envelope, then at Monica. I won't take it, if you're going back to who you used to be. I can't go back, Monica replied, because I'm not her anymore. Across the room, Arthur was sitting in the corner, folding paper crafts with a few kids. Monica walked over. Arthur. He looked up and smiled. 1 week. You lived, you felt, and you healed. I owe you more than just a meal, Monica said. Arthur shook his head. I don't need anything. Just remember how it felt and never lose it. She turned to leave, but then stopped. Arthur, how do you do this? You're just a child. He looked at her eyes, calm but deep enough to drown in, because I've been hurt. And I know no one should ever have to hurt alone. 2 months later, the financial press was rocked by the headline, Monica Whitmore resigns as CEO of Whitmore Global. No press release, no grand speech, no live-streamed farewell. She simply vanished from every stage she once dominated. Rumors flew, a boardroom coup, a breakdown, a secret pivot no one knew. But somewhere in a quiet corner of the city, far from glass towers and billion-dollar meetings, Monica was now teaching a free public health class. No CEO desk, no microphone, no brand name behind her. Just a whiteboard, a few wooden chairs, and the sound of laughter from people who never thought they were worth caring about. Richard stood in the back of the class watching quietly. In her hand was a keychain for the new healing center, renovated using Monica's small investment. The new space had it all: an herb garden, a greenhouse, and a cozy reading room, just like Monica promised. And Arthur. He was still the same, still folding paper with children, still sitting beside the dying, still carrying his old backpack filled with dried leaves, notebooks, and a few bars of chocolate. But now, beside him, Monica had learned to listen without interrupting, to be still without fidgeting, to reach out and touch people not with power, but with heart. One afternoon after class, Arthur sat on the steps, eyes fixed on the quiet gray sky. Monica joined him and handed him a cup of ginger tea, the kind she once sneered at. You're leaving again, aren't you? She asked. Arthur nodded. Someone needs me. A boy who's lost his voice from trauma. They say he loves building model planes. I'm going to start by teaching him to fly, with paper. Monica didn't speak. She just reached into her bag and handed him an envelope. This is a gift, not money. It's a promise written by hand. Open it only when you need it. Arthur didn't read it. He just tucked it into his pocket like all the important things in his life. Are you still afraid? He asked. Afraid of what? Afraid of not being the one who has everything anymore. Monica smiled, a soft smile like the first breeze of autumn. You've got it all wrong, she said gently. Now, I have everything. Arthur stood up and slung on his backpack, but just before he left, he turned back. Maybe one day, people will tell the story of a woman who lost the entire world and found herself again, because of one plate of leftovers. Monica nodded, her eyes glistening. And maybe they'll say the one who helped her find it all back was just a child the world had forgotten. Arthur said nothing. He disappeared around the bend, the late afternoon sun casting his shadow long across the dirt road. Years later, a local newspaper published a feature on the Whitmore Healing Center, now with branches across several states. A place where healing didn't come just through medicine, but through the simple act of being present for one another. The article ended with a single line, "We don't teach people to be powerful. We teach them how to be human again." A little girl flipped through the pages and looked up at her mother, Mom, who started the center. The woman smiled gently, brushing her daughter's hair. Someone who once thought she had everything, until she met a little boy and realized it all began with a plate of leftovers. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like the video if you believe justice can come from the smallest voices. Subscribe so you never miss more powerful and true stories like this one. Comment if you've ever stood up for someone you love even when no one else believed you.